want to dance. It's the new year, you know. How many times have I said I'm going to do things different this time, only to get stopped by my fears? I better play it safe as a someday conversation instead. But if I really think about it and really pray about it, scream about it, sing about it, then I understand on some deep and profound and sacred level. Intentions for the new year, intentions for the new year, that we will let them shine. Intentions for the new year, intentions for the new year. We'll release all our doubts and we'll just leave it all behind. Intentions for the new year, intentions for the new year. Not gonna let it slip by me and then pretend that it's all right. Intentions for the new year, intentions for the new year. Yours and mine, our intentions. When did I ever start to thinking that it was okay to disregard all that I say that I want? My greater good is my God, and it leads me on. I'm not gonna tell you no lies. Some of my dreams have not been realized. How much longer will it be? I'll make a promise to you. Will you promise me? Intentions for the new year, intentions for the new year, that we will let them shine. Intentions for the new year, intentions for the new year. We're gonna release all our doubts and we just leave it all behind. Intentions for the new year, intentions for the new year. Yours and mine, our intentions, 2019. Intentions for the new year, intentions for the new year. Yours and mine, our intentions. This is how it goes. Come on now. A thought plus a feeling equals what? A demonstration and results. I can be in the Holy Gap. You know what the Holy Gap is? What is it? I love that. It's the big embrace. All right, sing it with us. Ready? Intentions, 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 intentions.
Well, if that didn't get you all spiced up, I don't know what will. That's so fun. Thank you so much. It's great to have Stephan with us again. It's, wow, fun, fun, fun. Happy New Year, you guys. Thank you. Yeah, you can only say that it's about done. You know, it's like we're almost done with that. But since it's the first Sunday of the new year, I get to say it one more time. And for, 20 years maybe, I have talked about intentions. Thank you so much. Intentions during this time. I usually spent the whole month talking about intentions and how to bring those about. For those of you that are new, though, I want to explain what I think about intentions. So that when you hear that word, you don't get them mixed up with something else. They're not resolutions. Resolutions, according to statistics, have been dropped by February, about 80% of them. A resolution is, I won't, or I will. And it's based on willpower and your ability to make yourself do something. A goal is something that you know you can do and you can check it off when it's finished. I can do this. There's a goal. I can paint my bedroom. You might not want to, but it's a goal. You can do it. You can check it off. It's still based on what you can do. An intention, on the other hand, is an end you hold in mind without knowing how you will arrive at that end. That's what's so good. It's something that you want, but you have no ability to make it happen. It's beyond you and beyond your willpower and beyond your willfulness and beyond your skill, which is so fun. Let me give you an illustration. For at least 3 years, I had an intention to have a better relationship with my sisters. I was much older than most of my, all of my sisters. I'm much older than my sisters. I'm not going to talk about it. Not that I'm old, they're just really young. And we had been estranged for a very long time, for all sorts of different reasons and circumstances and story. But my intention was I wanted sisters. I had adopted women to be my sisters. So I had spirit sisters, I had soul sisters, and I wanted sister sisters. So for 3 years, I had a big, hairy, audacious intention that I would have a great relationship with my sisters. And for 3 years, or for at least for 2, it didn't happen. Then finally, somehow, I'm not sure how, we were communicating and they love me now. They love me. Now, the reason that that was an intention was that I couldn't make that happen. I could write them, I could ask if they wanted to get together, I could do things, but you can't make somebody want to be with you. Do you see how that's out of your control? You can set yourself up for it, but you can't make that happen. Well, I'm 3 for 3. Actually, I was 4 for 4, but 1 died. And I'm glad that we were communicating before she left. I'm very grateful. Another intention that I had last year was to sell Apache, one of my horses, my baby boy. Cutest horse in the world. I wanted to sell him to a really good home so that he could have more fun than I could provide him. He was getting to the place I had trained him as much as I could get him to do, and I didn't have the time or the energy to take him in new directions so that he could really become the horse he was created to be. I can't make him go to a good home. I could hope he could go to a good home, but my intention was that he end up in a great home, better than mine, and we have a really good home. Our horses. You know what I want to do sometimes? We have a 3-horse trailer. I want to put all 3 of them in the horse trailer and drive them around and say, you could live there, you could live there, you could live there. So no more whinnying when we're a little late with the dinner. I mean it. So, but I won't. Anyway, he had a really good home, but he needed a better home. So I put an ad out to sell him, and 1 family came, and 1 family bought him, and they bought him for their 15-year-old son who wants to rope. That was perfect for Apache, because he wants to chase something. Oh, yeah, give me the cow, give me the cow, give me the cow. It's going to be perfect. Better than I could have provided for him. That was an intention. I have an intention for the rest of my life, and that is to have good health. I can't make myself have good health. I can take my vitamins, I can go to the doctor. I go to the doctor once a year just for wellness. I can exercise. I can eat well, but I can't make myself be healthy. And I think you all know that there are people who take very good care of themselves, but it doesn't mean that disease can't show up. But my intention is that my health be the operating system of the universe through me. I don't want to recover. I did that once. I want to be a living demonstration of health. A lot of people wonder why they get sick. Do you have an intention to be really healthy? There's a difference. You intend it first. You put it out there first. It's high on your consciousness. See, I know that I took my body for granted until I had an opportunity to pay attention to my body. So the intention is to not have to have that wake-up call anymore. The best, this is my judgment, and I am judgmental. Yeah, and I'm okay with it. My judgment is that the best kinds of intentions are the ones that shift myself or shift you and make you or me, make us become a more fully functional human being. You have to grow to live that intention. You can't be the same and have that intention. Those are my favorite kind. And on New Year's Eve, how many of you were here New Year's Eve? Gosh, you came back to see, oh my goodness, okay, I've got this big, hairy, audacious intention, now what? This is the now what talk. But on New Year's Eve, for those of you that want to catch up, I asked people to have a big, hairy, audacious intention. A big, hairy, audacious intention, one that could only take place with divine intervention. It's not something that I can make myself do. It's something that is so large, I see the result of it, but I won't get there on my own. It forces me to be in partnership with the divine. It forces me to rely on something besides myself. The problem with the 80s and the 90s is that whole personal growth bullshit. And it was bullshit because we actually started to think if it was to be, it could be up to me. Well, I'm saying there's stuff that you can't, is beyond you. I couldn't knock on my sister's doors and say, we're going to have a relationship. How many of you have ever been confronted by one of those people who are going to will their way into your life? How'd that work? See, it doesn't work. But something moved them. Something moved in between us, and I have the relationships that I'm so grateful for. And it wasn't up to me. The kind of intentions that I'm talking about come from deep inside of us, because deep inside of us we are connected to our wisdom self. We are connected to the intelligence and the love energy of the universe, and it's called wisdom when it operates through human beings. It is something that can be, wants to be birthed through us. And the mind, unfortunately, usually looks at life and says, what should I fix? How can I make that better? How can I escape that? Wisdom says, how can I become this? How can I draw this? How can I make this welcome? That's a high and holy intention. So on New Year's Eve, we listened because it's very difficult to get a big, hairy, audacious intention by sitting there, because most likely you'll look at what you don't like and then you'll do the opposite. Who knows what will show up? In fact, actually, I was surprised. I had so become accustomed to having no relationship with most of my family that I didn't know I wanted a relationship with my sisters until I became still. And then it bubbled up. I want to be in a great relationship with my sisters. Really? Okay. But it came up every year. And so every year I'd put it down. And then eventually it became. Some other intentions were easy. See, this, I stayed with it because it kept emerging in my consciousness, or emerging from my consciousness. But some things I come up with and I can get almost immediate results. It did not take long for me to sell Apache. In fact, it was 3 days after I finally got over myself and put the ad out for him, that he was signed, sealed, and delivered to a wonderful family. Sometimes some things take time, some things don't. But always listen to your heart. Always listen to your heart. So let's take a moment to listen to our heart. I'm going to ask Jal to play some music. Let's become still and give everyone a chance to discover perhaps a big, hairy, audacious intention. If you did this on New Year's Eve, you can continue with the same one. But who knows, if you listen, you might get another one. It's okay to have two. You can have two intentions. This is not the candy store where your mother says, just pick one. This is keep emerging. In fact, I've been listening recently, and I've got at least 4 for the year. And more might show up. So let's just become still. Let the chair remind you that you are supported. Pay attention to the chair. Mother Earth uses gravity to hold us to her. So we are allowing ourselves to be held by the earth. Let it be a metaphor for being held by intelligence. Intelligence holds us to it. Life holds us. Love holds us. And now move into your heart space, that space where wisdom resides, by breathing in deeply, 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 no shallow breathing. Breathe deeply into that space that we call our heart. And I'll ask you a question, and I'd love for you to just have something bubble up. And when it bubbles up, you'll write it down. But first, be willing to listen to that deep wisdom self. Be willing to listen to your heart. And now I ask you, each and every one of you, and as I ask myself, what do you really long to have, to do, to be? What do you long to have? What do you long to do? What do you long to be? And then check it out. If you can just have it, do it, or be it, it's not a holy intention. If it takes divine intervention and divine support, it is a big, hairy, audacious intention. When you know what that is, when you have something, when it almost scares you, it's so big. When your mind says, it can't possibly be, but your heart still loves it, then it is a big, hairy, audacious intention. Write that down. Write that down on your card. Take the time to write it down. There should be extra cards on seats next to you. So if you get 2 intentions, write them both down on separate cards. You might have one left over, or you have one from New Year's Eve, and you get a second intention. You can use the same one you got on New Year's Eve. I see everybody writing. That's wonderful. We are in the consciousness of listening. Be still and know you're God. Wow, you have longer intentions than first service. I'm very proud of you. Now what? See, for some of you, just writing this down, it might work. There are some intentions that I've written down before, and just writing them down, they seem to show up. Others were more outside of my present awareness of life, and they didn't just show up easily. So here's some instructions that I want to give you. I must admit that I'm going to be doing in 20 minutes what normally would take me the month of January, because I would take each small section and elaborate on it. But I also know that the Holy Spirit can do things in between my words and around my words and through my words, so that what would have taken me a month can be done today. It was Gene Houston said that the Spirit or intelligence will work through whatever time you give it. So there's lots going to happen in 20 minutes. I will be gone the next 3 weeks in January. I'm going to Egypt. And then after that, I'm going to San Jose to do this process of intention building, but they gave me 5 hours. So we've got 20 minutes. We can do this. And a lot of this, the reason we can do this is people have done it before, so there's a lot of seed energy and seed consciousness in the room. So if you think, oh my goodness, I don't know if I'm going to get it all, rely on the seed consciousness of people who have done this process before. And know that you will get it, because I say you will get it. Now you have to say, I'm going to get it. Otherwise you're just, what's she saying? So just say it out loud. If you choose to, if you want this to work in 20 minutes, say, I'm going to get it. Great. No, you haven't got it, because I haven't delivered it yet. I love the metaphysicians. Yes, it's true. You have got it, so I'll just go. See, you want it? So here we go, very quickly. My purpose today is to have you have an experience of your high and holy intention, your big, hairy, audacious intention be manifest as soon as possible. The way to do that is write on your program, because you've got a little bit of room on your program. There's always some white space. On your program, somewhere on your program, create a circle. That white space, create a circle. And it can be small, because you can elaborate and make it larger later, but I want you to see what I'd like you to work with. I want you to work with a circle, and then when you get home, you can expand that circle, you can make it big. And in that circle, what you're going to create, what you're going to put is that big, hairy, audacious intention. You're going to write it down so you can see what it is. If you are very creative, you'll not only write it down, you can also create pictures of it. Those of you that like to do treasure maps, great. Do a treasure map in a circle that expresses your big, hairy, audacious intention. You're going to create a mind map. And we're not going to take 5 hours. What you do to create a mind map is that around that circle is you're going to make lines out of it. The mind hates a blank space. If you create lines out of that mind map, that circle, with your intention on it, your mind is going to have to say, oh, what goes here? What goes here? And then you listen. What would support this intention? Listen. What am I supposed to do next? Listen. And you'll get things, you'll get ideas, you'll get inspiration for writing in those lines that you put out there. The mind thinks that way. We think linearly. No, we don't think linearly. We think linearly. The mind thinks spatially. So you give it a problem and it goes, and you'll get all sorts of ideas that don't seem like they go together. Put them together later. But if you think sequentially, what could happen is that the mind will give you step 3 and you still want step 1. Put step 3 down and then wait. And things will start to fill in. Your mind knows how to get you from A to B, but you have to give space for it to think all over the place. I think a huge deterrent to our thinking process was outlining. Remember when you had to learn to outline? Mind mapping. opens up information you don't even know you had until you start to mind map. I'll give you an illustration of that. I was 42 years old. I lived from paycheck to paycheck. If something happened, like I wanted to buy something. I was thinking, did anything bad happen? Our house was fairly new, so we didn't have to repair the roof. We didn't. Our heat pump worked. Most things worked, but I might want something. I wanted to go on a trip or something like that. If anything came up out of the ordinary, I just charged it, and it was going deeper and deeper in debt. At 42, my big, hairy, audacious intention was to become financially free. And I had no idea how to do that. Now, I don't mean just free like as in no debt. I mean free like as have money so that if something comes up, I could buy it. If something comes up, I wouldn't fret, how will we do this? I wanted to be free to handle life as it came. I wanted to be free to travel. I wanted to be free to have the kind of life that I was desiring to have and not be in debt. Debt is not freedom. So, circle. Financial freedom. In fact, actually, I didn't even have the brilliance to say financial freedom. I just said more money. I want money. And I started drawing lines. Then I looked. And the first thing that came to mind was join an investment club. I didn't even know what an investment club was. But that's what my mind told me. Join an investment club. What's an investment club? I kept looking at it. And pretty soon the thought came and I wrote it down. It said, call Cheryl Jacobs. Cheryl Jacobs was really active in this church at that time. She was my practitioner. And since I didn't know what an investment club was, I called Cheryl Jacobs. I called Cheryl, I said, Cheryl, I really want to change my finances. And she said, Kay and I are about to form an investment club. Really? This is weird. I didn't say that. I'm supposed to act like it, of course. Really? Well, I want to do that too. Now, let me tell you what an investment club is. It was so fun. We would get together and educate ourselves on how to invest our money, what to do with our money, and how to save money in a meaningful way. So we would meet once a month. We'd give ourselves assignments. Check out what a stockbroker is. Check out index funds. Check out money markets. Check out insurance policies. Check out annuities. And we would educate ourselves, come back, and then not have to do all the research ourselves. We became smarter and smarter. And I started putting little bits away. Little tiny bits away. And Cheryl got this great idea. Somebody had told her about this penny stock, and it really was pennies. So, it was easy to just invest $200 in this penny stock that exploded. I can tell you I've done very, 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 very well by listening. By just doing that circle and listening and thinking, well, 200 is too little to invest. $100 isn't really much. To the place where I have cash that if I need anything, I'll just pay for it. And besides our mortgage, we have not had debt, my husband and I, for 20 years. But it started with an intention and then listening to what all the next steps would be. So that circle is so powerful. And the lines you create are so powerful because the mind wants to fill in those lines for you. And it has access, if you listen, it has access to intelligence you know not of. I suggest that you keep this in front of you, whatever your big, hairy, audacious intention is. First one is create a mind map. You might put it in a journal because you'll keep getting ideas. Next one is keep this in front of you. Tim and I put ours on the refrigerator, and since we go there a lot, we see it. Next thing, follow the instructions that come to you on the mind map. Call Cheryl. Fine, I could do that. I didn't know what an investment club was, but I knew how to call Cheryl. Have Apache go to a good home. I didn't want to do Craigslist. Didn't get inspired to do Craigslist. I got inspired to join a whole bunch of organizations on Facebook that buy and sell horses. So I was going directly to the people that I knew used horses in a good way. The last thing, and the next thing is, so I've given you 3 things. Create a mind map, keep your intention in front of you, follow directions that you get from your mind map. The 4th thing is, use this big, hairy, audacious intention as a big, holy invitation to grow. You expand into your intention. You grow. You are being asked to become a new person. You're being asked to become a person that would naturally have what you intend. You are being asked to become a person of faith. It is done unto you as your faith holds it. It is your faith that has healed you. It is your faith that made this happen. Not my faith, not Ernest Holmes' faith. Your faith will make something happen. What that means is that you move into what a person of faith is they are the kind of person that makes welcome instead of the person that makes happen. Faith makes welcome. Faith says, let there be. But it's an easy let there be. The mind says that's crazy talk, right, Carmen? Crazy talk. I learned that from Carmen. That's crazy talk. Because we are so used to problem solving, we're so used to making stuff happen or not making stuff happen. It's not supposed to be because I couldn't make it happen. A person of faith says, I will allow Spirit to make this happen. I will make this so welcome. That's a person of faith. Let me read to you a little bit more about faith, because a lot of people get mixed up about what we talk about. And therefore, we dummy down this teaching. This teaching is not about having everything you want. This teaching is about becoming the kind of person who can make manifest the glory of God on earth. And God is not glorified when you are confined in any way, shape, or form. If you can't talk to somebody, you're confined. If you have to wonder what's going to happen next, you're confined. If you can't express yourself physically or emotionally in a brilliant way, you're confined. That is not glorifying the Spirit that wants to live through you and make you a fully functional human being. So, it is not uncommon amongst most modern students and practitioners of spiritual truth. You're a practitioner of spiritual truth. Anytime, who's done an affirmation before? You are a practitioner of spiritual truth. Okay, I have an intention to speak better. All right. If you do affirmations, if you meditate, if you have read a spiritual book in the last decade, you are a practitioner of spiritual truth. Okay, so, practitioners of spiritual truth. It's not uncommon for those people that I just talked about to see them attempting to step out in faith before they actually have the faith necessary to step out with. The results of such effort are generally unproductive and self-defeating. Such experiences are sometimes referred to as early arrival of dreams, which occur whenever we attempt to bring our dreams about by our own hand instead of having the faith and the patience to allow them to come out by the invisible hand of God. This does not mean that we sit around and let God do everything for us. It means that when we act in real faith, our actions are filled with inspiration instead of desperation, and we are inspired to express instead of desiring to possess. See the difference? This phenomena takes place because our dreams are what we hope for, but underneath each hope there is a fear. Furthermore, the hidden fears tend to come up when we try to express ourselves in a more expansive way. By having a big, hairy, audacious intention, your fears will come up. My intention to have a relationship with my sisters brought up I'm unlovable, and what I did somewhere in our history was unforgivable. I mean, I don't know that I did anything, but I figured there was some reason they didn't call me back. I'm unlovable and I'm unforgivable. Those things had to be eliminated so that I could have the relationships I wanted. I had to dissolve those. Big, hairy, audacious intentions ask you to dissolve that which is false. And if it's not of God, it's not of you, it's false. Emma Curtis Hopkins goes on to say, when we first accept the truth, it is intellectually accepted. In other words, it seems reasonable to our intellect. How many of you have come in here and thought, oh, I like this, God's good, yeah, I can have anything I want. Ooh, I love this place. But after a while, we begin to doubt that the truth has any power as we meet unpleasant conditions that are not immediately overcome. We had supposed that just remembering descriptions of truth would accomplish everything and we would be out of danger from tribulations. How many of you think that? Why did that happen to me? I'm such a good person. Why did that happen to me? I'm spiritual. I go to that New Thought church. Bunch of bunk. Kathianne and Ernest are full of it. We are full of it, but it's good stuff. Furthermore, we thought that speaking words of truth would turn everything around rather quickly. How many of you have had that thought? You know, if I just had the right affirmation, this should be over. We need to build faith. What I've noticed in the last year, I've been building faith, and so now I'm at the place of saying, oh, I could have that. It's so easy. It's so easy to accept because I spent the year building my faith. So here's some ideas for building your faith as you are letting this intention change you. First one is, increase your spiritual practice. Whatever you're doing, double it. And unless you're doing a whole full day of nothing but God, I'll give you a reprieve. But for those of you that are doing the affirmations in the car, do it to work and back. Double it. Be still and know your idea of God, because if you are not living a life of freedom, meaning you feel free in the condition that you're in, you do not know God as freedom. If you're not being fully supported, you don't know God as support. If you have relationships that are iffy, you don't know God as love. If you are in debt, you don't know God as supply. So know your God. And affirm often, I have faith in God, I have the faith of God. And also affirm, the Lord is my provider, I shall not want. And then keep these intentions in mind, keep them in front of you. Go to sleep as though they had happened. Go to sleep as though they had happened. And be supported by this community or any community. If you go to another community, be supported. Now, I am an introvert. I would much rather be in a cave and do my spiritual work. I can get high on God in a cave. I can get high on God anywhere. Leave me by myself. I'm high on God. Leave me alone. Just. But being high on God does not mean that I'm allowing God to move through me and manifest in the world. We are to bring ideas into the world, and the best way for me to bring those ideas into the world is to do it in community. And when I'm with groups, when we do things together, when we speak, when we're intimate, when we share ideas, that's when I move. That's when I become in the presence of other people. I say that because some of you may be really triggered by this high and holy intention, by this big, hairy, audacious intention, and you may not see results right away, so you want to go off and hide. You can go off and hide, but you'll get to it faster if you stay in community. And allow the community to support you. We have fabulous prayer practitioners. If you call our prayer line within an hour or two, 10 people are praying for you. We have an inspiration line so that when you feel down, you can call it and somebody's going to be saying something to you that will inspire you. We have a prayer circle that doesn't have much room there because we haven't been drawing many people, but if more people show up, we'll get more room for the prayer circle. To not be in the presence of other people and say, I now accept is to let go of an opportunity. There's something so powerful about saying what you want in the presence of other people who are looking at you when you say it. You hear it yourself, you see it, it's like it comes back to you and you begin to believe it more. It is so much more powerful than the thought. How many of you have had good thoughts? They're like mosquitoes. Frankly, I'd rather have an eagle. I want something to land on me that could pick me up and carry me off. No more mosquitoes. Let's pray. So, do you mind if we go over a little bit? Has anybody there's no Seahawks game, right? Sorry. Am I free now to go over? I'm so sorry. The Seahawks, because they're just giving me daggers. But I say this because I would love for us to do a blessing for everybody in every area of these intentions. So everyone that has an intention for a physical situation, would you please stand up? If your intention wasn't around a physical nature, stand up. And so I just give thanks that I speak my word of blessing for every person who is allowing themselves to say yes to God, that God is the operating principle of their body. The universe is the operating principle of their body. Divine order is now the call of the day. And I bless this intention to live well, to be well, to stay well. All is well with your soul and your body, and so it is. And now I invite everyone to stand up whose intentions revolve around relationships, whether it's at work, your community, a significant other. I speak my word of blessing that love is real, and only love is real. And all ideas that conflict with that divine idea of the realness of God is being dissolved, eliminated, and let go. Holy, holy, holy is the name of love operating in, through, and as us and all our relations. As the Native Americans would say, blessings to all my relations. I give thanks that we are allowing ourselves to feel the love, the connection, the support of love through all of our relations. And so it is. You may be seated. And for everyone who had high and holy intentions around finances, please stand up. Oh, you're just standing and standing. Yeah. I think we've run out of intention cards. Okay, here we go. So I give thanks that I can speak my word, that I know that there is one source of all good, and its name is God. It's short, it's sweet, it could be called by so many things, but God is the support, it is the supply, it is the nourishment, it is the sustaining energy of creation. And I give thanks that it is now finding a perfect and wonderful expression of sustaining to each and every person who stood. And all ideas of lack, limitation, deprivation, all ideas of restraint and restriction, all ideas of debt and indebtedness are now released. Because they are not true of God. They could not possibly be true of any person in this room. I speak my word that it is the Holy Spirit that dissolves the idea that we must be stingy, that we must somehow keep ourselves safe. For God is our safety, God is our support, and God is that which flows through us to nourish us and all of our relations. Thank you, God, and you may be seated. And now for those of you that just want to have a bigger, better, and more powerful relationship with the Most High, that's have an intention for spiritual and mental and everything else growth, oh, there you go. Did you guys really put all of this on one intention card? just wondering. You've got a lot of intentions going on. Well, praise God, because I absolutely know that in the call and in the desire is the answer. To reach out to the Most High, it says, yea and amen. My beloved in whom I am well pleased. I am so grateful for the recognition and the opportunity to flow through and as you and around you and for you. And God says a mighty yes to that intention. A mighty yes. A mighty yes. And now I speak my word that beyond our ideas of good is God's idea of good. I speak my word that as we begin to listen to our heart will speak and it will sing and it will declare and it will bring forth mighty and powerful visions for the life that we were created to live, that we may fulfill our purpose and that we may be supported in all areas of that purpose. And I give thanks that we are waking up to the power that we have to make this world a better place, that we are no longer victims of what they did. Instead, we are the place where good shows up, and so it is.